Hello, kids. Welcome in, one and all. It is another edition of the Matt Murphy Radio Show, and yet another day that Matt Murphy has shown up, which is convenient because that's the name of the broadcast. You can find us on a lot of different platforms. I'm going to go down the list for you right now, and I do this from time to time during the course of the show to make sure that if you get out of your automobile, you take us on your phone. If you get away from your phone, you're there on the laptop. If you are around a television, you can watch the show. I don't know that I would recommend it because we're three ugly mugs, or at least two. Ken Weaver's kind of good looking. Jackson, ugly. Matt Murphy, ugly. Ken Weaver, nice. Good-looking beard.
Checks in the mail.
You're welcome there, Weaver. It is a Wednesday edition, Jan 14. More on that in a moment as it's my understanding that at some point today, my sister will be listening to the broadcast. My brother regularly listens to the show. I have an older brother and an older sister, Brian and Karen. And my brother regularly listens to the show. God bless you, Brian. Thank you. Brian's been out on temporary leave for from his job for a medical procedure that he had done on his foot, and he's got one coming on his shoulder. One way or the other. My brother normally listens, and it's my sister's birthday, and she never listens, but she's going to be in the car as they take her to dinner, and so I'm going to give my sister the business. My sister used to be a liberal. I briefly did a segment back in Birmingham called My Sister the Liberal, in which we talked to Karen about some of her liberal beliefs, but Trump came around and she got religion. I don't know if those two things went hand in hand or if it just coincided with one another, but she's a Trump girl now. So one way or the other, she's also 1 year successfully around the globe. Am I saying that right? Yeah. The globe has gone 1 year around the sun, and she has aged in that year. And happy birthday to Karen. And any of you having a birthday today. It's January 14th. It is Wednesday. It is episode 957. 957. That's the number of shows that we've put together on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Well on our way to show 1,000. And it will be a blowout, boys. A blowout. Jackson, are you planning on show 1,000 already? You should be.
Yeah, I'm working on it.
What are you doing over there? What are you doing over there?
Trying to find an nincompoop. I got to beat Ken.
No. You do that on your... This is our time, Jackson. You do that on your time.
Got to beat Weaver.
Jackson wants that trophy back.
I was the big winner yesterday.
I don't care. I want Weaver's trophy.
I was the winner yesterday, and I think Weaver won on Monday, right?
No, I won Monday.
I think it was Weaver.
I went first yesterday.
Oh, yeah, you did.
I'm just kidding. I knew you won. I was just trying to
You mean I haven't won all week?
No, Ken. Ken,
that's not fair.
You got to get two wins.
That's cheating. That's what that is.
You got to get 2 wins in the next 3 days, my friend.
I can't lose that trophy.
Don't vote for Ken.
To retain that trophy.
A vote for Ken is a vote for communism.
Okay. That's what they tell me. I mean, I just heard it. Anyway, find us episode 957. Once again, big blowout for 1,000. You working on that behind the scenes? I'd love to get out. The three of us should go somewhere for the 1,000th episode. Who would sponsor that? Who would do that? Go over to King's Bowl or something? Or
I want to go down to that lake with that brewery.
Oh, yeah. Tim's Ford Lake?
Yes.
Am I saying that right? Yeah, I'm saying that right. Tim's Ford Lake?
Yep.
Yes. Oh, Ken, you would dig it.
I know I would
dig it. Maybe we can make that happen. Who knows? I don't imagine that many of their cabins are taken up this time of year. We could probably get ourselves some accommodations too, Weaver.
Yes, sir.
And even Jackson could stay. We could put him on the porch. Nothing. Okay,
I'm comfortable with that.
That's fine. Are you good? You good? You good for the? You seem a little grumpy today.
He's focused.
I'm focused.
Didn't Tennessee win last night?
Barely, by the skin of their teeth.
Well, I mean, a win's a win, right?
They were favored by 10.
A win's a win, right?
They won in double overtime.
Are they Are they writing down how it happened? Are they writing down? Well, they were favored. No, they're W. That's what you'll see. W. Huh?
Need to be better.
Okay. Well, then do better.
My Sooners were playing Florida.
Mm-hmm.
Florida made us look like we were a middle school team.
They did that to Tennessee as well.
We are small.
They did that to Georgia, too. Georgia's pretty, Florida's pretty good, right?
They're big.
They're unranked. I don't know how.
Somehow they lost 5 games. I don't know how.
Well, they're not losing any games now that they're in SEC play.
They got like 3 7-footers.
What?
Yeah, man, Florida's. Look at them.
Yikes.
They just played around with us like a cat does a ball of yarn.
Y'all know this is kind of new for me, paying attention to basketball before the
For football.
before football's done and before the SEC tournament. When I start paying attention to basketball is when the SEC basketball tournament.
Yeah. Which is usually here in Nashville.
Is it?
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, we should go, Jackson.
You didn't know that?
Let's go. No, I once again, Georgia, basketball. Football, yay. Basketball. Baseball,
What about softball?
No, we were good in softball for a few years.
I love
softball.
ago.
Love that softball. That ribbon, that ribbon thing is not right. Not correct though. Y'all know the ribbon thing? In softball?
No.
I've been told on good authority that the ribbon thing is not technically accurate. If you know the ribbon thing, you know the ribbon thing. All I can tell you.
So if you know, you know.
If you know, you know. Softball, the ribbon thing. You look it up, Ken.
All right.
See what happens if you put it in the Google machine, Jackson. Put in softball is the ribbon thing real and see what comes up. Very curious if this happens.
I'm putting it in my co-pilot right now.
All right. Is the ribbon thing real? I bet they don't say anything about it. ICE protesters in Hendersonville, according to 8899. What is that all about?
In Hendersonville?
That's what 8899 says. ICE protesters in Hendersonville. It's not Tim Ford's Lake.
That's not true.
3092. It is Tim's Ford.
Tim's Ford.
It's Tim's Ford Lake.
Just happens to be a lake.
I got in a lot of trouble for about an hour and a half. I said it wrong, and people were very angry at me. Did it pull it up though? The rumor?
All I see is a
not true.
softball-themed awareness ribbon.
No. There was a rumor that went around years and years ago that the ladies on softball teams designated their sexual preference based on ribbons in their hair.
Kind of like where you'd put an earring back in the 80s if you were a man.
There you go, Weaver. That's exactly right. I never. One of the reasons I never got an ear piercing is I never could remember which ear was which. And you make that mistake, you only make it once, boy. Why are all these fellas being all sweet on me? Oh, my Lord, I pierced the wrong one. Right? It was if you pierced one ear, you were gay, and if you pierced the other ear, you were straight.
Something like that.
Something like that? I can't remember. I've pierced to nothing. You got any tattoos, Jackson?
Nope.
You want one?
Not really. Not a big fan of needles.
I've been thinking about practicing. You sure?
You got one?
I'll do it for free.
You have a tattoo?
I do not.
Ken, what about you?
No, sir. I'm not a tattoo person. I don't have anything against tattoos.
No.
I'm just not a tattoo person.
I don't have anything against tattoos. I just never thought, I've never settled on anything that I think I would want permanently on my body. I don't want to put something on my body and then 2, 3, 4 years down the road go, not so much anymore.
I've got a coffee cup that has 2 penguins on it.
Uh-huh.
One of them is smoking and the other one is holding a glass of wine. And it says, George listened intently and sipped his Merlot. I would have that if I had a tattoo.
Where would you get it, Ken?
Probably on one of my calves.
There you go. Kind of like that. I don't understand those folks that get sports-related tattoos. I don't. But, more power to you. More power to you. Some fella had the 8 for Dale Earnhardt Jr., and then he had to add an 8 for the 88, and, it's just, you're just asking for trouble. All right, we have lots to get into today. Marsha Blackburn will be along via phone. Senator Marsha Blackburn with us at 4:35 this afternoon. Our good friend Debbie Matthews from Columbia, Tennessee, Murray County, will step in to talk about the Columbia water situation, give us the latest on that, and generally thrill us with her presence on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'll also open up phone calls. Debbie was my realtor, and Debbie did a great job as my realtor. I used Accurate Mortgage as my mortgage company, and I know Debbie for years. Debbie was one of the first people that I met in Nashville, Tennessee, and she's a wonderful asset to Columbia and Murray County, and she's a great realtor. And so, if you have any questions about realty, she's the one that you can ask, and she can answer. Let me into the meeting, will you? I'm trying to. I'm desperately. Would you mind doing your job? I mean, I don't mean to ask too much. I'm in a mood. I'm in a mood today.
Well, me too.
I mean, I don't understand why you're in a mood.
Traffic.
Is it?
Yeah, I was
So I went by that thing that was on 40, and I don't think it was the thing that you were talking about, because the thing that I'm talking about, I mean, the cops had just gotten there. There was an 18-wheeler crossways in the road.
Yeah.
And there was trash everywhere.
Yeah. That trash is still out there.
Is it?
I had to take 24.
Oh, lucky you.
Oh, boy. When 24 is your better alternative, things have gone sideways.
Yes, sir.
Yes, Ken, I don't envy you.
No, sir.
That was awful.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It legitimately put me in a bad mood.
Yes, sir.
And people were just driving like grandmas out there.
Well, it's because they're afraid something's going to fly off a truck and impale them.
24 is like the redneck, low-rent, trailer trash version of the interstate for some reason. Is that a fair analysis?
I never drive on it, but I did today, and I regret it.
I have seen marked differences in 65 and 24 heading out of Nashville. Take 65 out of Nashville, and I rarely interact with a semi. I never interact with dump trucks or construction vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
You take 24, and about every other vehicle is a dump truck or a construction vehicle with stuff hanging off of it.
Jackson, I'm being told that Ken Weaver's microphone's not working on YouTube.
Somebody took him out of. Somebody was trying to silence Ken.
Maybe
it's not at 24.
Maybe you're so focused on that nincompoops in the news that
I don't know why Ken was out of that program.
Well, I don't know, but he's working now. Thank you, YouTubers.
And nothing against truck drivers, dump truck drivers, or construction workers.
No,
they got a job to do.
No, they're good people. They just make the ride a little harder. I'm just telling you. I'm not saying 24 isn't necessary, and I'm not saying folks that drive on it they're good people. But it's like me getting together and saying, "Hey, Ken, Jackson, we got to go visit cousin Ernie down at the trailer park today." And you're like, really? Do we have to? Yeah, we got to. 24 sometimes is necessary, but you never like it.
One thing I don't understand is people who think it is okay to cut in front of a semi. They cannot stop. And I see it all the time. You got to give these men and women room.
Well, can I take the counter to that argument too, Ken?
Yes, sir.
I don't understand semi-trucks that think it is acceptable when you've got a line of traffic in the passing lane to go ahead and decide they're going to pass another semi-truck going up hills. And I don't want to get into a big argument with truck drivers. I love truck drivers, and I love what you guys do, and I know y'all have a hard job. And I know that the four-wheelers don't pay attention to you. My brother drove a truck for years and years, and he talked to me about it all the time. But it is fascinating and infuriating to me the number of times that 18-wheelers, they get into the left lane, the passing lane, and they stay there, and they quag traffic up for a significant amount of time trying to get by that other 18-wheeler. And they're like, well, we've got to be on the roadways. We've got to right to. Well, yeah, but come on, man.
Sometimes it takes about 5 miles for that to clear. Sometimes it takes about 5 miles for one semi to get past another.
I know. And I'm thinking, well. And they're like, well, we got to do it. Well, you don't. You don't have to do it. You could not do it. But that's just me, too. One way or the other, we can talk about traffic all afternoon long. We will not. We will. We will, from time to time, we'll bring up some traffic situations that might impact you in the course of your travels this afternoon, because we are a full-service talk radio show for the masses on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Jackson, do you have something to say?
I'm good.
I know what you were about to do. You were about to apologize for your lack of performance over the first 20 minutes of the show.
I was good.
He ain't never taking 24 again, I guarantee it. Brother Jackson will avoid 24.
That'll put you in a bad humor. That will do it. All right. Big goings on across the globe out of Washington, D.C. We're going to discuss some of those. I mentioned during the cross with Chad, I did a deep dive. It occurred to me with all of this chatter and conversation about Greenland that I don't know a lot about Greenland. And I would suggest that you don't know a lot about Greenland either. Now, some of you might, a few of you might, but I did not know as much as I do now, as I did a deep dive on the autonomous region of Greenland last night. And it is fascinating. It is a huge landmass. It is the largest island on planet Earth. I mean, Australia, technically a continent. It is the largest island on planet Earth. It is a huge piece of land, and the vast majority of it is covered in ice. And it is for the most part, completely inhabitable. The fact that there are actually people inhabiting Greenland is a miracle unto itself. The position that it is on the globe, the winds and the different weather that affects the topography there, I mean, all of it is a fascinating look. Why does Donald Trump want Greenland? Because it is strategically necessary. It is a very important strategic region around the globe. They have rare earth minerals that we have heretofore not been able to tap into, that we now want to tap into. They don't have much else. Not a lot of people there. And frankly, Denmark lucked into Greenland to begin with. I mean, Denmark's all, that's ours and that's not yours and blah, blah, blah. Well, the people that live in Greenland don't really think of Denmark as their, like, overlords. Now, they depend on them because Denmark supports them monetarily. That's the angle that we ought to be taking. We ought to be going to the people of Greenland themselves. Inuits, most of them, are in their genealogy and in their history, they are Inuit people. These folks need to be convinced that America could set you up a hell of a lot better than any old Denmark could. And you might want to be an autonomous region of the United States of America if you so desire. One way or the other, I think I understand a little bit more as to how Donald Trump is looking at this. He is looking down the road, 10, 15, 20, 25, 50 years down the road, recognizing that we desperately need rare earth minerals in order to continue to support our way of life, and we cannot continue to depend on those nations that don't seem to like us very much in order to get said same. That said, Greenland is strategically important. It's important geologically, geographically, and I think he's looking at it as an Alaska situation. I mean, we bought Alaska from Russia, and people thought we were idiots for doing so. And the natural resources that exist there obviously have benefited greatly the United States of America, and it is geopolitically positioned as well. I want to believe that this is kind of an art of the deal situation, and I think I am closer to believing that than I was before I did a deep dive into Greenland. Anyway, we'll talk about it. I promise I'll make it interesting. I also did a deep dive on the history of ice, which is not a very lengthy history. It only came about in 2003. I want to talk about that as well. And what do these liberals want? Do they just want the destruction of immigration and customs enforcement? Do we no longer want homeland security? Do we no longer think that the radical Islamists are a threat to the United States of America? I mean, hell, you listen to Tucker Carlson, you'd believe that. You listen to Tucker Carlson, Qatar, and some of these regions where radical Islamists rule, they're just, they're beautiful. They're awesome. They're terrific. I mean, up until 2 weeks ago, he was saying the same thing about Iran. I still believe that the greatest danger that we face as a threat in the United States of America from a foreign adversary would be from radical Islamists. 24 after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 615-737-9986. Back in a moment. Well, we're looking forward to that, friends. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. There's Ken Weaver back in News Closet B. Jackson Williams at the controls, making sure that everything that comes out of our speaker sounds as good as humanly possible. You on the phone, 615-737-9986. 5194 on the super text line. What's the difference between Russia occupying Ukraine and the United States of America occupying Greenland? Looks like the pot calling the kettle black to me. Well, the biggest difference between the United States of America occupying Greenland and Russia occupying Ukraine is that the United States of America is not occupying Greenland. And that is the end of that discussion. We're not occupying anything. We are looking to potentially purchase the land. We are looking to create an arrangement with the natives that live there, the Inuits that live there, the Greenlanders, I suppose they are. They act autonomously and to their parent country, although the Kingdom of Denmark does give them money. But they are ultimately an autonomous territory based on where they are and how they live. It is not easy to get to Greenland. It is not easy to get out of Greenland. It is not easy to move around Greenland. But we aren't occupying Greenland currently. So as far as my comments about radical Islam goes, I'll say this and then we'll get into the news. Several of you said, what do you mean? I believe that radical Islam is the greatest foreign threat that we face short term on the globe. But that is not the greatest threat that we face. The greatest threat, I've said this for a long time, the greatest existential threat that we face as a nation is the fact that we cannot stop spending fake money. Let me say it again a little bit better this time. The greatest existential threat that we face in the United States of America is the fact that we cannot continue spending fake money. And we will be destroyed as a country as a result unless we stop. Unless radical Islam destroys us first. And we're allowing the proverbial fox in the henhouse, friends. Already have. More on that coming up. 3:31 Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, here we go. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. It is 3:38. I think I said that at 4:35 we would have Senator Marsha Blackburn on. Well, it's actually 3:35, I suppose. You know, the difference between Eastern Time and Central Time, sometimes that gets us. But it's always a pleasure, no matter the time, to speak with our current sitting senator and gubernatorial candidate Marsha Blackburn on the radio show. Hello, Marsha. How are you?
I am doing so good and so happy to join you. Thank you.
Well, it's a pleasure to have you with us. I mean, obviously, there's a lot going on, not the least of which I thought about you, and I know that you posted something about this on the X machine, as I call it. There were oral arguments being made protecting girls in female sports against the intrusion of men into that arena. And it continued. You know, I made this statement, Senator, and I just want you to reflect on it. You know, I disagree with just about everything that Elena Kagan, every position she takes on the court, but I don't doubt that she is a smart person. I disagree with Sonia Sotomayor. Justice Sonia Sotomayor is a left-of-center jurist, but I respect her level of intelligence. Ketanji Brown Jackson doesn't seem to be a very smart person if she can't figure out what a girl is and what a boy is, but she seems to continue to be baffled about this fact. I mean, she was baffled about it before when you questioned her on it during her time in confirmation, and she continues to be baffled by this idea.
She does indeed. And, you know, you would think over the 4 years since I asked her if she could give me the definition of the word woman, she would have figured it out. And I brought it up to her in that hearing because I said this having men and women's sports and these issues around choosing your gender, that is going to end up at the court. So I need to know, can you give me the definition of the word woman? Of course, she said she couldn't, so yes, indeed. I put a video on the X machine this morning to explain it, that you've got XX, you've got XY on the chromosomes, and that the dictionary even gives her the definition, adult female. So hopefully it will help clear up some things for a couple of the justices and some of those that were presenting the oral arguments yesterday that just had a lot of difficulty saying, what is a woman?
Well, it doesn't seem to be that difficult to me, and I thought we had gotten this issue behind us. Hopefully the court will decide rightly. Are you confident that the court will come down and protect women and females in sporting endeavors and otherwise?
I would think that they would side with women and females. I thought the oral arguments yesterday went very well.
On other issues, Senator Blackburn, obviously there's been a lot of discussion about immigration and customs enforcement, and I get I won't say infuriated, but annoyed with the mainstream press and how they present this issue, and they regularly refer to what is going on in the United States of America today as Donald Trump's immigration policy. And I don't want to, get caught up in semantics. But this is America's immigration policy. These are policies that have been on the books for a long, long time. Donald Trump just happens to be a commander-in-chief and an executive that is willing to enforce the laws that have been rightly passed by the Congress of the United States of America through organizations like Immigration and Customs Enforcement. But, of course, they want to try to pretend that they're the bad guys, ICE is the bad guy, Donald Trump's the bad guy, when I think most rational Americans recognize that what they are doing is cleaning up a mess that was not created by Joe Biden, but was certainly exacerbated by the former president.
Well, indeed, and President Trump's policy is the rule of law. America's policy is the rule of law, and ICE is enforcing the rule of law. You can go to their website. You can see the crimes that the people they are apprehending in Minnesota have committed violent crimes. They've got robbery. They have murder, rape, sexual assault of a child, sexual assault. I mean, the list goes on, aggravated assault. And these are the people they're pulling out. And quite frankly, I don't think anyone in Minnesota, I know certainly in Tennessee, people do not want neighbors, individuals living in their neighborhood that have committed these crimes. And you're so right, these leftists are trying to make heroes out of the villains, and then they're trying to make villains out of ICE and law enforcement. But you can look at these videos that people are putting up. It tells you a different story. And, you know, in Tennessee, over the weekend, ICE arrested a criminal illegal who was here in the country as a meth dealer, and he was in Monroe County, Tennessee. And they apprehended him. And I think it's important to realize these ICE agents and our law enforcement are putting their lives on the line every single day to arrest these rapists and drug dealers and pedophiles and predators and murderers and gang members, and we owe them a debt of gratitude.
Talk to me, and I think these two things kind of go hand in hand. There is a tremendous amount of fraud that's going on in Minnesota. We know that there are other fraudulent activities, probably even greater than the Minnesota fraud, going on in some other leftist states, blue states. But you, along with several of your colleagues in the United States Senate, have introduced the Fraud Accountability Act, which would put a spotlight on this and a focus on this. Talk to me about that.
Yes, indeed. As we were looking at the situation that had arisen in Minnesota, we realized that the Immigration and Nationality Act, it's called the INA, that it did not consider all fraud to be a standing for deportation or denaturalization. So my legislation tightens that up and makes all fraud a fraud against individuals, funds, corporations, government entities. It makes it all a deportable and an offense meriting denaturalization of individuals that have come in this country. They've come in and then they've set up fraudulent activity. It goes all the way. It's retroactive. People that have been in the country since 1996 and have defrauded the country. It allows, when those individuals are apprehended, for law enforcement to hold them until the court, a federal court, any federal court, not just an immigration court, any court that can hear that case, and to revoke that naturalization of those that commit a crime of fraud and make that deportable is what we will do. And as you said, several of my Senate colleagues have joined me on this because right now it says fraud has to be over $10,000, and it should be fraud back to $1, because we know that people have found a way to set up these entities to circumvent the law. And one of the things, too, I think is important, in 2024, Joe Biden and the Biden administration actually scrapped a rule that required these child care centers to verify that kids actually attended their facilities. And so it opened a Pandora's box on this fraud, and we are hearing about fraud in many other states. It's the number one email, number one phone call that we are getting in our office. People are saying, have you looked here? Have you looked there? It's healthcare fraud. It's property fraud. It is financial fraud. It is as well for fraud there around mental health and the homeless and drug addiction and child care centers and daycare centers and elder care centers and these government programs. And of course, the GAO has just released a report they've worked on for some time showing that the fraud on an annual basis in our federal budget, all taxpayer dollars, that it is running between 230 billion and 521 billion each year.
And we wonder why we can't get our spending under control, right?
That's exactly right. And so I think what you're going to see is a push to actually do something about fraud, whether it's at the local, state, federal level. We're hearing about fraud in so many of these states. And as you said, these blue states, these sanctuary states, we're hearing about an accelerated rate of fraud in those. And of course, Texas has found some fraud in some of their programs that whistleblowers have come forth in the last couple of weeks. Mississippi has somebody that went to trial this week on a fraud case. And, Matt, I think this is one of those things. Minnesota was kind of the tipping point.
Mm-hmm.
And as I said, people are calling and reporting if they think somebody's carrying out Social Security fraud, if they think somebody is defrauding through a health care program. It is the number one call that we're getting.
Well, and I would say this, Senator, and it's probably for a longer discussion at a future time, but you see this because so much of our money is going to Washington, D.C., and sadly so many states are dependent on some of these federal monies coming back to the states. It just lends itself to that fraudulent activity, particularly in states that do not have the mechanism in place to manage it or do not have the wherewithal. I mean, many of these states, Gavin Newsom comes to mind in California, obviously Tim Walz in Minnesota, they don't care. And so it is difficult not only to track the money as it goes to D.C. and then goes back to these individual states. It is difficult for the federal government to get their handle on exactly what the states are not doing. All of this could be stopped by just stopping the spigot out of Washington. Am I looking at this wrong?
You are so spot on. And that is why I'm so grateful for what Donald Trump is doing every single day to send programs and responsibility back to the state.
Right.
Because when the money comes to D.C., whether it is for whatever kind of program, and then D.C. puts their fingers in the pot and takes some of it, and then they send some back to the states. And, oh, by the way, they put all of these metrics on it and mandates, and so you end up with a little bit to spend. And so now what is being brought to light is the degree of fraud and how these programs are so unaccountable are actually people that are administering some of these programs are not being checked on. It's like the people that are supposed to be doing hundreds of meals every day, and you find out they're doing like 10 or 20 meals for people that are underserved. And taxpayers are furious with this. And I think it is an issue rooting out the waste, the fraud, and the abuse of the American taxpayers' dollar. It's something people are demanding that there be a closer look at the federal as well as the state and local level. And that's why our Fraud Accountability Act is getting so much attention.
I know we're limited on time, so I believe I only have a shot at one more question, but I'll just ask in an open-ended fashion. Explain from your perspective what we should be and should not be doing to support those that want freedom in Iran. I mean, there's a lot of fear amongst the listening audience that this might lead to military activity, boots on the ground. I think there's a big difference between the Western Hemisphere and Venezuela and what's going on over there. We support democracy and the democratic process in Iran, but walk us through your perspective, Senator.
Yeah, and, one of the things that we have seen, the Open Technology Fund, which is something Congressman Michael McCall and I have worked on for years, plus Elon Musk with a Starlink, that is what we are using at this point to get information into the freedom fighters and then for them to be able to get information out. I think President Trump has been very direct with Iran. If they carry out this execution of one of the freedom fighters, that it is going to make for a very difficult situation for Iran. I think what the American people have seen, and indeed some of these governments like Iran, where you've got the Ayatollah and this regime, they know that Donald Trump means what he says. You can look at what happened with the bombs that got dropped over there earlier this year. And they know that if he says, you better not do this, then they better not do it. We know that there are young people in Iran, and God bless them. And I've heard from some of our Tennesseans who have family or friends, relatives that are still in Iran, that a lot of young people are pushing very hard to restore freedom in Iran and to move the Ayatollah out of his position. So we will see what continues to happen. We are monitoring it very closely, monitoring it every day. Grateful we have the Open Technology Fund program and Starlink that is helping with this information. And, there are a lot of people, whether it's Venezuela, Cuba, or what you're seeing in Iran, they know Donald Trump is going to be there to support freedom. And this is one thing to bear in mind. We, the United States, do not go into occupy countries. We go in to liberate people and give them their shot at freedom, and that is what you're seeing play out.
Well, the president has demonstrated that he can thread the needle in the past, and I trust that he will be able to do that in the future. But the people that I talk to in Middle Tennessee, Senator, they don't want to see more boots. They don't want to see more military bases in the Middle East right now. I think those they want a respite from that. But all of that can be left for a future conversation. Thank you so much for your time, as always. You know how much we appreciate talking with you, and we'll do it again soon.
You got it. Take care. Bye now.
Take care. There's Marsha Blackburn. I just don't see an appetite for people militarily going over there and attempting to secure that region. We've got to let the people in Iran to do that. Now, if you can thread the needle, thread the needle. But I do not see an appetite for military intervention, long scale or even really short term military intervention. 54 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.